Hey everyone, I'm excited for our team huddle tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking about eating healthy under social pressure. And the biggest thing, what I've seen with working with my clients, is the sugar part. So going to parties and having all this awesome food around you, and what do you do in order to avoid it? So I just want to make it clear, sugar doesn't have to be your enemy. And you don't have to fixate on it and think, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Once you hit a spot, then it'll be a lot easier. So I'm just going to give you a few tips that I've used. I used to be a huge sugar addict myself. And basically, whenever I was in the same room with brownies, I had to eat it. So there was no allowance. I knew that no matter what happened, I'd have to eat it. And I'd feel awful and wish that I didn't. But I felt like I was totally out of control. And so where I'm at a point now is that it doesn't matter. I can be around any types of sugar and be totally fine. I can choose 100% if I want it or not. And it just depends how my body's feeling at that time. So that type of control is awesome to feel. So, okay, here are the 6 strategies that I have put together. And we'll start with the fallacies. So the first tip is to face the fallacies and admit the truth. So I don't know if you've ever said this to yourself. If you're like me, then you've said it lots of times. I have to eat it because it's free. Has that ever happened to you? So many times when you're going somewhere, like, well, it's free. I've got to eat it, even if it's unhealthy. So just recognize that that's a fallacy. You do not have to eat it. Doesn't matter. It's going to be back sooner or later. So the other fallacy is, I won't get another chance to eat this, so I better eat it now. And especially when I go to my aunts or uncles, my grandparents, I always think that, or for Thanksgiving, big events, oh my gosh, this is the last chance. But what happened to me was, I remember going to a bridal shower and they had homemade lemon meringue bars. And I love lemon meringue bars. And I finally thought to myself, because I could hear my thoughts, this is the only chance I've got to eat it. And I thought, I've lived 25 years. I have been happy. I will have plenty of other times to eat lemon meringue bars. I've had plenty of chances to eat them. I can handle not eating them for a little bit. And then I felt totally calmed down when I realized that was just a fallacy and I'll be fine. I'll have more chances in the future. Okay, so the other fallacy is, I can't let it go to waste, so I better eat it. So my favorite thing is just to consider what would you rather look like a trash can? The trash or your body? Because either way, you're picking. So I finally discovered that and I was like, I'd rather have the trash can look like trash than my body. So just respect yourself. Don't put all that extra food into your body if you don't need it. So that's a higher way of thinking, of believing that your body is a wonderful, beautiful machine and it doesn't have to have everything that you have around you, okay? So tip 2, act like this is a weird one, but let's hear me out. Act like you are gluten intolerant. So what I mean by that, how many of you know someone that's gluten intolerant or lactose intolerant? How are they? Are they happy people? Do they avoid social circumstances? Have they totally isolated themselves? Do they complain about it all the time? Maybe at the beginning that was hard on them, but they learned to cope. And so when you're deciding to have a healthy lifestyle, especially with sugar, you learn to cope. You learn to go to social circumstances, social situations, and be totally fine. You learn other foods that will satisfy you instead. So act like you're gluten intolerant and don't be embarrassed that, oh no, I can't have this or that, like as if a gluten intolerant person is embarrassed. They're not. It's just how it is. They expect people to accept them and they act like they're totally normal. So do that yourself with the healthy foods that you want to be eating and avoiding the unhealthy stuff. Okay, so tip number 3, know the easiest ways to say no, or to say no thank you. So my favorite one is maybe later, thanks. And when you say later, your body's like, maybe I'll have it later. I can handle that. Or you can say, no thanks, I've already had some. No thanks, I'm eating right after this. No thanks, I'm full. No thanks, I just ate. And so to go one step further, I won't. We'll keep it simple. So those are some basic ways of saying no thank you. And just get used to them. And one thing that I found out is I went to eat some lunch with a bunch of my girlfriends. And I wasn't going to have any because I was going to eat lunch with my mom right after. And so they asked me, Kirtley, why aren't you ordering anything? Oh, I'm going to eat lunch with my mom. And right after that, no one said a word. I drank water with everyone, but no one cared. No one was like, oh, why aren't you eating? Are you better than us? Are you on a diet? You shouldn't be on a diet or whatever. So just have an easy answer, and you don't have to be afraid of it. You don't have to be defending it. Just keep it simple, and then help people to feel not threatened, like by saying, no, thank you, I'm on a diet, because then they think, oh, you're better than me. I should be on a diet too. So just keep it simple and pleasant, and don't feel shamed. All right, so this one's my favorite one, the fourth tip. Be genuinely happy that healthy food is around you. This is really weird. I learned this when I was in the MTC. All the missionaries by me, all my friends by me were eating donuts for lunch, breakfast, dinner. And I was like, I didn't want to have any. I didn't want to gain the 15 pounds. So I just saw people having donuts, and I was like, I'm so happy for them. That's so great that they get to have that, and I don't have to have the consequences. And so especially if you're going like for a Christmas or a holiday thing, 4th of July is coming up, be happy that fun food is around you, because that's part of tradition, right? And just because it's around you doesn't mean you have to eat it. You can enjoy other people eating it for you, but you are not bearing the consequences. So be happy, be excited for people, and don't feel bad for yourself. Okay, next one, we're on the 5th one. We're almost done. Train your thoughts to hate sugar. So this one works really well, and I've been working with one of my clients, especially close. And I said, okay, next time you go home for family dinner, you know everyone's going to have sugar and be pushing it in your face. Why not think thoughts like this? Ew, that is so gross. Or I can't believe that they're putting that into their body. Just have these awful negative thoughts like, oh, look at that. That's disgusting. How could anyone eat that? And at first you're like, it's kind of a joke in your mind, but then it becomes serious. And when you see people binging on ice cream and cake, you're just like, oh, I'm so glad that's not me, because I know how I feel afterwards. I know what it does to me. I do that with fast food. Yeah, that's good. Amber says she does that with fast food. Recovered Taco Bell addict. It totally works. So just train yourself. All of our actions start with our thoughts. So I'm basically saying train your thoughts. So that's a powerful one. Dare you to try it. Okay, so the next one is the not one bite rule. And I used to tell people that were in maintenance that the 3-bite rule is a good way to go, because the first 3 bites have the most flavor, and then that's just like whatever after that. But if you're serious about getting off of a sugar addiction and losing weight and feeling awesome, having energy, just tell yourself not 1 bite. And then if you commit to that, then it's not even hard. When you're going to a party, it's just already decided. So my example for this is I threw a big ice cream party in college for a bunch of my girlfriends. And I was in charge of bringing the Reese's Pieces and the chocolate syrup out and the ice cream out. And I had told myself before, I'm not even gonna have any. And that whole night was so easy. I felt clean. I felt light. I felt sexy. I was just really happy that I wasn't bogging myself down with this stuff, because if I had taken 1 bite, I knew it would have led to mindless eating, and soon I would be so full that I hurt. So I just decided not to go there. And once you make that decision, the rest of the night is a piece of cake. Oh, probably the wrong thing to use. The rest of the night is a lot more simple. So those are my 6 tips for dealing with social situations and food that is hard to say no to. So let's open that up for discussion. And I think you're in charge of that, Amber, with unmuting people.
Thanks, Kirtley. I love those suggestions. And yeah, I typed it to the group, but I definitely used to be a Taco Bell addict. Like, I would go to Taco Bell almost every day. I'm not going to lie. And now, like, it's like tiling down to my kids too. Like, we pass by a fast food place and we're like, ew, gross. Like, they can't even imagine that we would go to McDonald's or something.
That's so awesome.
It took a long time, right? And what didn't happen overnight. I love those suggestions. Okay, so who has some comments or ideas or just things that are going through your head, questions, anything like that for Kirtley or just for discussion? Just, we're here to support each other. So you can unmute yourself, or you can just like wave your hands like this and I'll unmute you. Okay, Camille, let me unmute you. Go ahead.
Sorry, I can't unmute myself. My husband, it's weird. Anyways, he's got the mouse. I liked what Kirtley said reminded me of something my husband was just teaching me not too long ago that he learned in his MBA program, I think. But it's called hedonic adaptation. And after just a few bites of something, so like if you're eating a milkshake, you know, you've got like one of those big milkshakes. After just a few bites, all of it just tastes the same after that, and you've lost your ability to enjoy it. And so, but everybody still eats that whole milkshake, even though you're not really enjoying it, right?
Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting. Why not just have that tiny little bit, and then so you can enjoy it to its fullest and be done.
Yeah, I like that. And then you have to push it away, because I have to, if I have a lot of food in front of me, I'm going to eat it mindlessly. So I put it far away from me.
Right, exactly.
So, awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Camille. And it's nice to meet you. I've always seen you on the tapes, but I've never talked to you in person.
One thing that really helps me when I go to a party is just to stay away from the food table, because if you don't see it, then it's not so tempting. And also, like when we have people over at our house for birthday parties, I'm usually the one like to dish up all the dessert. But I have found that if I just let someone else do that and I leave the room, then I'm never even tempted to try it. So just staying away from the food table and just making it more about conversation is huge too.
Awesome. I love that. Does anyone else have some thoughts? It is, I see what you mean too, Liz, especially within your own house. The best way to change your eating habits is to change your environment. Like that's the first thing you should do. And so Josh and I never buy crap. Like it's not even in our house. Even if we want chocolate, we're just like, oh, I'll have this carrot and hummus instead. And then you're fine. And the minute that we do have like chocolate chips or Oreos in the house, they are gone so fast. And it's just because it's convenient. Like if it's in your vision, then you're going to eat it.
Yep. I think it's so important to make your home like a safe place. Feel like you're not going to be tempted, and you can be successful in your own home. And so I think that comes down to what you buy and what you bring in your house. Just make it a safe place that you know you're not going to be tempted by those things. And then when you are going out to eat or to a party, I just up there and gum. It's always great. I enjoyed your tips though, Kirtley. Those were great.
Thanks for sharing too. Does anyone else have a comment?
I'll say something, Kirtley. I loved your tips. I came on a little late, so I missed the first couple, I think. But I love all your tips. And I also just want to bring up, like, we're not perfect. You know, I'm a health coach on this call as well. And I'm not perfect. And you don't have to be perfect to be healthy. And I just think that's an important thing to bring up. I would say probably 85% of the time I eat really clean. I eat perfectly clean, probably 85% of the time. That other 15% of the time, I'm not like searching for Oreos and eating entire packs, and you know, it's moderation. But I don't want people to think like you can't have this because you're trying to be healthy. You can enjoy sweets once in a while, and I love what Camille said, that maybe you enjoy 1, 2, or 3 bites because that's where you actually get the pleasure from those treats anyway. And Dr. Anderson always talks about we eat for, what is it? Is it 3 reasons? Amber, you might have to correct this one on me. I always forget it. So, but we eat because we want to, right? Or we need to. Or we eat for fuel, or you'll have to say it for me because I know I always mess it up.
Yeah, I mean, you got the idea of it. You eat to fuel your body, and sometimes you eat for taste.
Sometimes you eat for taste. And sometimes I love to make delicious treats. And my family enjoys that once in a while, but it's not like a mountain of cookies and I'm just going to eat them all because it's Saturday and that's my free day or whatever.
Yeah.
It's all about being healthy most of the time. And I just think that's important. Sometimes, like if you do choose to have a cookie, that you're not just gonna, you know, we always talk about if you slash it, you know, if you get a flat in one tire, that you don't walk around your car and slash all the other tires and give up. You just fix it. You move forward.
I love that.
Okay, let's see, I'm unmuting. It says Paul Carson, but I'm sure your name's not Paul.
No, it's Karen. I have a question. I'm going to be in July and August actually, to 2 family reunions that I'm kind of in charge of. Any tips? It involves a lot of food.
Have some tips for her.
I think, is that you, Karen?
Yes.
Hi, how are you? Good to see you. So the biggest thing is to prepare and plan ahead. And so make sure that there are healthy options available. Make sure you have a support system. So you're telling people, hey, I actually really want to eat healthy and this is fun for me. I really like your support. So people aren't tempting you or making you feel guilty for not eating with them. So letting people know that, preparing ahead, just deciding ahead too, and especially deciding to enjoy the conversation more than the food. So just have really quality conversations with people, and that's where your sweetness comes from, just having sweet conversations instead of eating sweet things.
Okay.
So,
Well, and it sounds like you said that you're in charge of the food. So what a great opportunity. I would just guess that other people other than you would be super grateful that there was healthy options too.
Yeah, I'm in charge of 2 different reunions, plus we'll have 13 people staying at our house. Most of them my grandkids who will want junk food. But,
Oh yes. No, and not to say you couldn't have some treats for a family reunion, but definitely having those healthy options and just really enjoying those grandkids. I agree with Kirtley.
And if your grandkids, like if it's grandma and she wants to get treats, get things you don't like so you're not tempted.
I don't have the problem with the sweets. I have more problem with salt than I do sweets.
So get the snacks you don't like.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind if my husband eats Doritos or something like that in front of me. That doesn't bother me, really. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I know the kids we're going back to Wisconsin, and there's lots of cheese and, that kind of stuff. Brats.
I just took 2 trips to Texas and I packed my own food. I packed shakes, I packed salad, I packed my own salad dressing. I'm one of those women now that goes into the restaurant with their own salad dressing because it's just easier. But since you get to cook the food, like tonight, our neighbors wanted us to have dinner. We went to the store together and I was able to say, okay, well, you do the protein, I'll do the vegetables. And that way I know I'm having the right kind of vegetables for us. And I got nice fresh cucumbers, tomatoes, just put them all together and made my own salad and salad dressing so that I knew I wasn't getting that extra fat.
It's a good idea. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I also want to say you all look really nice. Oh. You look like you've lost a lot of weight. I'm just a beginner.
Well, we are too. This is our first month. And as you were saying, remove the temptations, we started June 1st. And the last day of May, I packed all of our bad food in a box and I gave everything away to the neighbors. I was like, get my potatoes, come get my fruit. We gave everything away.
No,
and
we didn't. You did.
Well, I gave everything away. And he's like, don't we have this? I'm like, no, we can't eat that.
One thing I'll say also is when you're feeding a crowd, I have a big family, and so we do a lot of things that could be lean and green or could be, like taco bar. We could do a taco salad for people that wanted to eat really healthy, or people could have taco shell, or like spaghetti, making a big thing of spaghetti, and you can use zucchini noodles to make a healthy sauce. So just making things that could go either way. You could do a potato bar and have lettuce and make a big salad out of all the fixings. So trying to find things that would accommodate a big group, but you could also make a healthy meal out of it also is great. And then just being excited that you can be the role model, that you can, set a good example of eating healthy and teaching your grandkids how to eat healthy too. It might be a fun thing for you.
I would add just a little bit on that. I think what a great opportunity, honestly, for you to just as Liz, like we may tend to want to like kind of huddle in our own little shell and just think, how can I survive? But hey, you kind of set a precedence. Like every time that they come over, if you're known as the grandma that, hey, she's always got the junk food, then it's always going to be that way probably, and it's probably going to be a lot harder for you to live healthy yourself if you don't, start to trying to be a good example and share that healthy eating with others too.
I only see my grandkids maybe once a year, so this is a big deal. And this is the first time in 16 years that they'll all be together, so it's a big deal.
Well, we found out that our grandson likes spinach because he had grandma's salad. You never know. With a kid, you never know.
True.
And maybe keep things that you can eat too, like fill your freezer with popsicles, have some sugar-free popsicles in there. You could do sugar-free Jell-O, and then just, have things that aren't going to tempt you. So like really the only junk food that's ever in my house is maybe like marshmallows, because I hate marshmallows and I know I'm never going to eat them. And so
I don't like marshmallows either.
Yeah, so just having those things that aren't going to tempt you, and then just try to teach your grandkids to eat healthy too, and make good things like apples and peanut butter, snacks, healthy snacks that they enjoy, and you're going to feel good giving it to them.
I'm making notes.
We'll have the playback available too in case you missed any of this. This is good stuff. No, these are such good ideas. Does anyone want to say anything else before we wrap up?
Amber, can you hear me?
Yes.
I was just going to say with kids, they like to grab food. And if you prepare earlier, then you can cut up a lot of fruit, and even like the marshmallows, you can add a protein, like mix together like a little grab bag of marshmallows and peanuts and, maybe some Chex or, stuff like that kids love in the little baggies. Sorry. But the fruit, I don't know any kids that don't like too much fruit. Just a couple suggestions.
That's awesome, Sadie. Thank you for adding that. And I hear your sweet kids. That's so fun. All right, guys. Well, we just appreciate everyone hopping on. We're better together. We're stronger together. Like when you take all the big sticks and you can't break them, So I really loved all that everybody added, and really appreciate Kirtley for planning out this support call tonight. So thanks, everybody, and have a really fabulous week. And we will see you next week, same time, Monday, 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern.